Hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite Rafael Tavares talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites. And today we have ourselves some Sorcier, some Victor, and some Russ.
That sounds like a condition that you might have to
Yeah.
go checked out for. I don't
It
know.
might also be contagious. Like very, very contagious.
It is
I thought it was
definitely
like, it sounded like
contagious.
something out of D&D.
But you want it though. Like it's contagious, but you want it.
Hmm.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Good evening.
Good evening. We are having a good amount of fun today. Tonight is going to be a kick off Kickstarters kicking everywhere because there's so many Kickstarters starting this month that we're going to have to show off some stuff.
Sorry.
Dude, man, like every time I turn around, somebody else is like, Ralph, do you know I have a Kickstarter? And I'm like, what?
Every time. Every time.
Oh my God. I want to ask some things. I know Sorcier just went through this. I know that Victor goes through a bunch of Kickstarters as well. Sorcier and Victor, why do you think people do that thing where they support you and then they pull and it's usually a big support and then they pull it out and then you end up with this hole that you have to fill?
Oh my God. You mean the cancellations?
Exactly.
I got 4 of those today, totaling over $200, and I feel a tremendous amount of pain right now. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's just trolls who are trying to be funny. Other times, I guess it's people who are just indecisive. Like maybe they back your book and then they see something that they think is way cooler, so they cancel the pledge, and then they're like, "Oh, I'll back this other thing." I don't know.
I actually think that you're 1,000,000% right, and that's one of the reasons why for the big bundle we made it such a larger package that you'll get. So the idea is that what you're backing is such a huge amount of content that you're more likely to keep up with it rather than cancel at the last minute. I do find that there's this Kickstarter fatigue. Like Ralph said, like there's so many people like, I got a Kickstarter, I got a Kickstarter, I got a Kickstarter. That stuff adds up, over a time period. And if you don't have the nest egg kind of thing where people are like, no, I need to get that, or it's so much more content than another one, you end up losing out. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, for me, it's new backers, and I think also it probably has to do with the fact that, like, if your campaign is funded, I think people have a higher chance of pulling out to go and help a campaign that needs help because, like, I've noticed there's sort of an epidemic of campaigns that get, like, super close to funding at the end and then they just don't make it. Like, my friend Ryan, his campaign didn't make it last time by, like, $86.
Wow.
Yeah, his goal was 5,800 and he missed it by $86. So it's like, I think people are pulling out of campaigns that are already like successful and throwing it into campaigns that need help.
And then creating an epidemic where the campaigns that were working now need help.
Yeah, there is that.
I have to say, I've been seeing that as well. I've been seeing that like so the supporters of campaigns have decided they have this, and then they go somewhere else. And then that person is missing that amount of money that they just you took out of the way.
Yeah.
It's a tricky beast. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out Kickstarter and all of its wares and wonders. And I was just doing a promotional thing on Friday or so where I was looking at the percentages over that my last 4 Kickstarters had been, and it's an interesting sort of variable where I'm getting quote unquote diminished returns in terms of percentages over, but the actual goal amount is higher. So it's kind of leveling out in an interesting sort of way. But I am looking at backer counts, and that's in a steep decline. And I got to figure out, like, why am I losing people? Like, what am I doing wrong? Am I not kissing you enough? Like, give me your face. I'll make out with you if that's what it takes to get my pledges back. Like,
I don't know. Maybe you got to get that OnlyFans going.
Listen,
for
man,
real.
I'll do it. Okay, I've been doing push-ups. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I will do things for my comics now. Let me, poses. I got the butt out.
There you go. Duck face too.
Son of Saint is saying, hey. Mr. Despair is saying, hey. And of course, Son of Saint is going, that's crazy about what we're just talking about. And whoa, take me to dinner first.
Hey, I'm always kind with mine. I definitely take you to dinner first. Of course. We'll have conversation and everything. No expectations on the first date. Second date, it gets spicy. That's all I'm saying.
dude, like I got my book that I've been working on for a while, and we're getting closer and closer to the Kickstarter. And the closer we get to the Kickstarter, the more I'm like, I don't think I want to do this.
You know what? You're never gonna be ready, like ready. So just like whenever you feel good enough, just throw it out there and see what happens.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, as soon as I'm ready to go, I'm going to go. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if one. Like, I've helped you guys out so many times with Kickstarters that I'm like, oh.
I got your back, fam. Don't worry.
And I do think that's another aspect of it that people have to get used to is the expectation that if you support a number of Kickstarters, when you launch one, will everyone be able to support yours? And it's not necessarily a matter of they want to or don't want to. Sometimes financially they don't have it based on when you launch. And I've been confronted by people that are like, how come I supported your Kickstarter and you didn't support mine? I was like, when did you launch it? And they're like, right when it's back to school. And I was like, I have 5 children. Okay. Going back to school, that's where the money goes. You launch a campaign around back to school, I can't touch you.
Well, your kickstarting education's there.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's things like that I think also come into the ecosystem of crowdfunding that people don't consider. They're just kind of like, hey, I got this thing, I'm ready to go. And it's like, but when you do it is just as important. It's no different. You know what I think we should do? I'm spitballing, so I apologize for how random this is. But we should literally do like movie studios do and have like dates that we pitch like ahead of time and go, I'm going to launch a Kickstarter at this point. And so we start marketing this Kickstarter that we're planning to do by this point. And we, a year, 2 years in advance, whatever, that should be what we do so that everyone knows ahead of time, this is the date that I'm putting down for my Kickstarter when the time comes. I think
I do that.
I gotta admit, like we were talking about that recently, that one of the problems with the indie scene is because they're indies, they're all over the place, and there needs to be like a coming together of some of the or some or all the indies where now we're talking to each other, we're helping each other out, like because I feel like you're right. Like what ends up happening is we start stepping on each other's toes, and that doesn't help anybody.
It's true. It's so true. So true. So
definitely.
try to yeah, I think this is again a new culture, and that's part of the thing. Like I don't know that we've successfully figured out how to marry doing crowdfunding campaigns and doing conventions. I think those still right now they conflict with each other. Either I'm selling stuff to you at the convention or I'm trying to get you to back a Kickstarter. I can't do both because now they're conflicting with one another. So there's a lot of things I think we have to start having more in-depth conversations about how does this work for us? How do we make this whole system work?
We actually had this discussion too, and I feel like people when they're at a convention, they want something, and then telling them, "Well, support my Kickstarter," they're not really getting anything at that moment. You don't get anything. And I was like, what if you started giving like if you're at a convention, those people who support the Kickstarter at the convention get a convention Kickstarter exclusive.
Ooh,
but what if they cancel when they go home?
Wow, that is the darkest thing I've ever heard of.
No, people do that. People are scumbags.
Oh, God,
They'll back it to get the thing, and then they go home and they cancel, and they're like, haha, I got a free thing.
Well, the whole thing is to make sure that there's a certain amount of cash flow. Well, in the convention, since people have credit cards, they can actually support you right there and get that thing that you're giving them as the exclusive.
What if you did it where you actually had them hand over cash directly to you, and then you back it later on your own?
Well, so Kickstarter has a thing where you can't back your own Kickstarter, which I think is rude.
Well,
I mean, like literally, like especially when you get down to a certain.
If a Sorcerer's friend was able to back his own Kickstarter, you're gonna pay his $86. $86.
Yeah, exactly. My God.
That one right now. Boom, boom. Like you're running around trying to cash at people. Like back my Kickstarter right quick. I got you. But no, I think you're absolutely right, Russ. If that was the case, if that was something that you could do where the person pays me and then I hate to put it like this, but I'd have to have a dummy account that I could put that money in and then back the Kickstarter based on that dummy account.
Yeah.
Then that just gets
complicated.
Sticky, so sticky.
Yeah, I get it. It seems like it might be just my first thought is like let's say I was doing that at the show, which I'm just kind of just spitballing here, and then I would just be like, like my best friend or my wife or someone just be like, hey, just throw down $100 on this. Here you go. And like it wouldn't really be a dummy account; it'd just be someone that you're close with,
Right.
Be kind of helping you out. I don't know, like it's a weird workaround, but
Right.
Possible.
The fact that you even have to though, that's
Victor,
hard.
it goes back to what you were saying. Sometimes you need a team to help you out, and if
Yep.
you have a team that's working with you, then that's more than possible.
It's true. It's true. You're my backup funders. Okay.
Exactly.
Like I need you guys, like don't put in right away in case I need you to back it up later. That's a genius move. That's a genius move.
Start, like even like a group, like let's just say all of us were in case we just know, like, hey, we got your back. If you need $100, I'll do the $100, and something like that.
I've definitely seen that as a recommendation for people that before you launch your project, try to. This is such a crazy concept, but I mean, if you take the time to do it, I'm sure it works. If you have your average backer tier, right? We say the $15 to $25 tier,
right?
And you look at your entire scope of what you're trying to get funded. You need to find that many people before you launch that you can get to guarantee would put down that much money.
Right.
So if you've got a $2,500 thing, you need 100 people that you can find that will say, yes, I will give you $25 when this launches. And all you got to do is just stay in contact with them, like, hey, we're almost there. We're almost there. And, I've heard of people that do this. Like they'll do like messages on Facebook. You can do, I think, up to 50 people a day, but I would, definitely, bring that back. But like 10 people a day that you can get to agree that they would do this over 10 days, you have your 100 backers,
right?
Which is not terrible. It's not terrible. Like I literally need to get on that. I'm like, I'm doing all these other things. I'm like, let me just message this person
again,
right quick.
There it goes, Victor. Again, you're already the hardest working man in comics. You're doing 10,000 things. So I can just imagine, like I run Bitten Apple, and I do all this crazy stuff that nobody sees behind the scenes, and I can't imagine like doing more.
Listen, just to give you that heads up, like literally one of the things I did today is I emailed, let's see, let me count it out. 26 comic shops about my campaign, wow, as well as message about I would say 40 different backers from the previous campaign that I did for the Kindergartenians that had like kind of a higher tier. Message 40 of them to go, hey, you haven't backed my new one. Are you interested? What can I do to get you interested?
That's a lot of work.
These are the things. But
it has to be done.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I think the beautiful thing about Kickstarter, at least, because we were talking about crowdfunder on Wednesday, the good thing about Kickstarter is that when you start a new thing, everybody gets that email who's supported you before.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's nice. A little help, a little push.
No, don't say that, because now it makes me feel bad, because all those people that didn't come over, I'm like, Kickstarter told y'all, how come you don't like me no more?
They'll keep messaging them. I don't know. There's a thing in marketing where they're like, someone has to see something like 7 times before they make up their mind.
Yeah.
So that email is just one of 7 things that they need to see before they decide.
Absolutely.
Because then people do the other thing, which is, and I've done it myself. I'm guilty of it myself. Is like you see it pop up, and they go, I got to do that. And then 10 other things pop into you.
And then it gets buried under spam emails, and you're like, oh, there's like a deal on cat food. Let me check that out.
I don't even have a cat. I need to get a cat too while I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Squawky Bird is saying that's a great idea to schedule Kickstarters ahead, perhaps needing to work together as a group, help promote each other as well, like what you guys are doing now. Oh, thanks.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. It's just something that the indie community needs to get together and do in one way or another. There needs to be some kind of grouping, even if it's smaller groups, or a bigger group. But all there needs to be like this support for each other.
Right. And again, I think that's the next step. We have to get to a place of equalization, though, in order to do it. Because again, all of our methodologies are different, our aims are different, our needs are different, and that becomes the hardest part. But I think if you get a squad together and do like a subscription service that says we do this campaign, but these are the different things that are coming out at different points of the year. I think that's a hearty way to get a lot of fans on deck, because then my fans become your fans and your fans become my fans, and then we build off of everything. I think it's solid.
It would have to be, I think, a similar target audience, though, because I'm sure like my audience isn't the same as your audience, and who's not the same as like other people's audience. So it would definitely have to be people like campaigns that have like a similar theme going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea too. You know, work with it as people who are doing the same as you. That also means that you're not fighting each other when both your campaigns go up at the same time.
Right.
Especially if you have the same audience.
So what would you suggest? Would you do a separation by genre and theme, and then different points in the year? So like quarterly, there is X amount of superhero books that you can do in the first quarter, and then a certain amount that you do in the second, and the third and fourth, and so on. Is that kind of what you would do with that?
That's a good question. Yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead into this. Like, but But I get it though, as far as like sectioning things off, like, all right, like maybe there'll be like a superhero theme thing like at this time, and then maybe, I don't know, like later on in the year it's like, all right, well, here's like a fantasy bundle, here's like a sci-fi bundle. Like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
All right, y'all take that, run with it. You're welcome.
Well, good ideas out here, folks. If anybody runs with it, let us know as well. You know,
or if anybody wants to run with us or something, I don't know.
That's a good idea too.
Absolutely. I love it.
All right, let's see. So Russ, let's start with you because I know you got to leave in a bit.
Yes,
let everybody know who you are, what you do, and I'll put up what you're doing at the moment. Go ahead, Russ.
All right. Well, I'm Russ, Game of Tunes. It's basically fan art. Right now we're running a Bloop battle, so I do like little character pins, and they battle it out, and winner gets me into a pin, and people do have the chance of winning if they can guess the winner of the whole battle.
Nice. I've been able to vote.
Did you see Saturday's stream where we tier listed them?
Did I see it?
Yes.
Yeah, Russ saw it.
I did watch it. Yes, I watched it today.
What's your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree?
With the final pick, I mean, so okay, I don't agree. I don't agree, and the only the reason that I say I don't agree, I'll be flat. Like, so I'm not really familiar with how popular the character is. I went with him as like a hard anime character because I've definitely seen cosplay. I've seen the character, and then so I'm like, this has got to be somewhat popular, but I'm not sure. Like my I was a little surprised with the stream and with the rankings that you guys had, but not completely surprised. A little surprised. Couple shocks there.
I mean, if you look right now, Genji is decimating the Iron Giant, and by no small margin.
Wow.
It is almost a 90% difference.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a big difference. It is a big difference. But
oh man,
he's not my tagline for nothing.
But we will see, because bigger shocks have happened.
That is true.
Yeah.
If the people that voted for him the last time show up again, there might be a bigger fight.
No, I think, like I said, I think he's got a chance. Like I said, I'm not super familiar. I mean, after talking to some people at work, hearing how popular the character is, I'm like, oh, so he's probably got a chance to at least make it pretty far. But I was a little surprised that Wednesday and Kratos wasn't really. Those are the two. That's the battle that I feel was like the toughest, and like I thought maybe one of them would make it to one of the top tiers, and it made it to the third tier. But I was a little surprised that they both made it to the maybe tier.
Just so you guys can see, I'm putting it up there. This is where we ended up at Saturday's show. We ended up with this. This is what our thoughts were.
Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna need to remove Megatron now.
Yeah.
Yep. We said that well, as things started to happen, it's going to change everything.
Yeah,
No love for the Flash. Wow.
no, the Flash is not doing well right now.
The only reason the Flash isn't popular right now is because of Ezra Miller.
Dang.
Yeah.
Not only that, but remember that show has been going on now for like 12 years.
No. We're not talking about the Flash, the TV show. He's popular. Ezra Miller is the Flash from the movies. The fact that the Flash from the TV show might take over the role is actually making Flash popular again.
Wow.
Yeah, the Flash was actually a suggested character, and I already had a character design, but he was a suggested one from someone, and I kind of opted there because I do get not a lot, but I get requests at shows like, do you have Flash? This, so people are still looking for Flash.
Dude, we had so much fun doing this list, and we had a lot of talks, and there's a lot of uncertainty there. So the question is, does the uncertainty change the whole thing? And if one of those things changes, it changes the whole board.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Megatron, if Megatron won, that's why those two are together there. Either one of those winning kind of changes the board, because that also tells you who's going to win the next event. Right. If Ghost Rider's still around, I think he has a better chance of beating whoever his next opponent is.
See, and it's funny too, because if going into it, like if I have like certain ones, like certain characters that I feel might win, and I thought round one, I thought Megatron was going to take it. I really did, just going into it.
We had a big discussion about that, and I was thinking that because the Transformers do well on your thing, that he would, but at the same time, it's Megatron. He's the villain, and
but I like Megatron. I like the villains.
I like them too, but there's a lot of people that just won't vote for them. And I wasn't gonna vote for him because Ghost Rider's my guy.
Listen, you can't vote for bad guys over Easter weekend. Like, I feel like that's a cultural no-no. Jesus.
I'm okay with that. Now I have to go and vote for Megatron like 50 times.
That's awesome. Russ, are you open for commissions from indie talents to do these?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Russ just did he did a collab with Shadowmare Comics.
Yeah, with my other little character. I have like, these are bloops and I have blips, which are, in my opinion, a little cuter, but
nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're on his page, so I can actually show off what he did for Shadowmare, which was pretty good. We loved it. We love the guys from Shadowmare. Oh, here they go. We love the guys from Shadowmare. And Shadowmare, what they did was they created these characters from a campaign of Dungeons and Dragons that they did, and that's what their comic book is. It's based on the campaign that they did, and the book is called Heart of the Heroes.
I love it.
They're adorable. Look at their gigantic heads.
Yeah.
So awesome. Russ does a great job of making these pins, and dude, if you ever get a chance to see Russ at a convention, you're gonna want to buy a bunch of his pins.
I love it.
He makes some beautiful pins.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah.
I think Nathan's asking to be put back in.
I didn't even know Nathan left.
Thank
you.
I got
it's funny
you.
because when I'm looking at the screen over here, if there's too many people and somebody pops in, they're underneath the screen, so I can't see them come back.
Aw.
I did say my connection's funny.
That's true. What are you today's roaming Tony?
Ooh.
I never left that opportunity.
Oh.
All right. So, Sorcier, let everybody know who you are, what you do. Give them the whole spiel. Go for it.
Oh man, it's my turn. I'm Mata Sorcier. I'm a self-taught artist and writer from the Bronx. I am the creator of Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order, which is currently on Kickstarter now as a trade paperback. which collects issues 1 through 5. Plus, there's a lot of bonus material, so it's really like a 180-page behemoth of a book. And it's the story of a girl who died, but then she got better.
I still
And
love that. I still love that.
Thanks. The catch is that she has no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers, or why she now has demon wings that she has to hide from society. And she kind of is. Well, her mom is trying to make a life with her in the big city, and it's not going very well.
Love the book. Love the idea.
Thank you.
Dude, so you're putting this is the whole thing together now in one shot.
Yeah, it's not the whole story, but it's like the first story arc wrapped up all nice and neat in a big book. Because the actual story is going to go on for a while. Like, I'm guessing it's probably going to be around like 50 issues by the time I'm done. So, like, it follows these characters throughout the course of their lives and like what happens and what they learn about like the world and society, and just it's a wild ride.
Dude, it sounds great. It looks beautiful. I
Thank
know you sent me the other 2 books for Kadma. I know they're here in the house, and I started looking through them, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you had a chance to poke through them, and like, what are your
Dude,
thoughts?
I got a chance to look through them because life is really weird right now.
I get it.
But I was like, oh my god, this is really beautiful. I still can't believe that you're doing the writing, the drawing, you're all guns, all hands on
Yeah, pretty much everything. I mean, I'm also doing the lettering and the marketing and all of that other stuff, and I don't sleep a lot.
Dude, I feel like today's show should be the people who work really hard in
It's the bust your ass hour here at Bit and Apple TV.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
My
dude,
age.
because it's funny because Victor works hard as heck, Sorcier works hard as heck. Russ, I don't even know how he gets half the stuff done. He gets
He's an android.
that's what I say. I tell him all the time. He's like, "Oh, Ralph, I can't do this right now because I'm doing this," and I'm like, and he works a real job.
He's an android.
Oh man, let's see if this will play because my computer's acting up today.
All right, good luck.
Here we go.
Hi there, I'm N. Sorcier, self-taught artist, writer, and criminal mastermind behind Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death, in no particular order. Sacrimony is the story of a teenage girl named Kajad, who died. But then she got better. As with most mysterious resurrection stories, there's a catch. She's got no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers, or why she must hide her newfound demon wings from society. Naturally, Kajad's got questions. Lots and lots of questions. Unfortunately for her, her mother Unica is the only one who can answer those questions, and honestly, she would rather not. She's more focused on other things, like fleeing the past as far as possible, trying to pretend that nothing weird happened, getting a job, a permanent home, and trying to have a normal life. But come on. You really think their lives are going to be normal? So why am I here on Kickstarter? After almost 20 years of setbacks, I finally got my big break and had a very successful run of Sacrimony issue 1 back in March of 2021. Everything snowballed in the best of ways, and each issue was able to gain a bigger and bigger following. With the first story arc being complete, I figured, hey, now's a great time to unleash a big old trade paperback collection of issues 1 through 5, along with some sweet bonus material. Aside from the digital and physical book, which is going to be a 180-page behemoth of a book in all of its full Color Glory, I've got some other awesome rewards as well. I've got some cool limited edition black metal tarot cards. Some of the original single issues are still available for all you cool collectors out there. I also got some lovely original art up for sale, and for the first time ever, I'm taking comic cover commissions for all you cool comic creators out there. So if you're looking for a fancy drama with complex character relationships and a redonkulous amount of world building, such as the Avatar series or Game of Thrones or some sort of weird mashup of the two, Sacrimony is most definitely up your alley, and you should definitely back this campaign. Thank you so much for your support, and keep an eye out because this is the first of many, many more chunky trade paperbacks.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're muted, Ralph. Whatever coolness you just said, we didn't even get to hear.
He probably said something so profound and we missed out on it.
Right?
I cannot repeat what I just
wisest words
said.
of wisdom.
The world has just told me that you can't hear it a second time, so I'm sorry.
Dang. Dang it.
I was saying was I'm happy that I don't have to play too many videos today. But I'm happy that I was able to play that because I really do like when Sorcier does her videos. They're cute, they're funny, and they sell her very well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Definitely share that link because I'm gonna back that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Of course, I have the Kickstarter here. I'm sharing the link to the comment section so you guys can go check it out right now. It should also be in a bunch of different places. Just go find it.
You're not wrong.
Here we go. I'm putting it into the comment section. This will make it life a little easier so you guys can go support Sorcier. It's an amazing book. The art is just breathtaking. You guys got to go support this, especially because she does everything on her own.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Thanks.
Dude, like I said, I love when you did that. I can't believe you're doing covers for a bunch of different people. Isn't that going to be a lot of work?
You know what though? I like doing covers. I used to do like regular commissions where it's like, all right, give me a picture of your character and I'll draw them. And I'm like, this is kind of boring. I want to do something that feels more special and like, you know, not to knock my past commission people who have commissioned me to draw their characters, but it's just like I like doing covers more. Like that's my thing. Like even when I do my own regular floppies for Sacrimony, I do like 3 different covers for them because I'm just like, I love doing covers. They're so much fun. Like being able to encompass like somebody's story into one image, it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of magical.
I agree. Everybody looks covers. I think that's what the industry is trying to play at now with how many covers the industry itself likes to give you your way, and you're like, I want them all. But you sit there going, wait a minute, it's the same story in each book. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm also like a sucker for collectible art. So if I see something with like a really cool cover and I'm like, you know, this is like probably $15 more than the original book, but I just really love the image, like I have to get it.
I agree. I may be talking about it right now, but I know I'll be the first one going, damn, did you see that cover?
Right? I mean, you judge a book by its cover, and sometimes the cover is really awesome and you just have to get it.
Oh man! All right, Vic, shoot, because you got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Okay, here we go. Soccer style kicker. No, I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics. I'm self-publishing through my imprint, Vantage and House Productions. I've been doing this full time for the last 13 years, and super excited to bring to you guys the big bundle, which is 10 amazing issues from 6 different titles that are all coming out this year, 2023. I have been like knee deep in work for a while, working with some of the best creators in the biz, trying to get this stuff together because, as I kind of revealed yesterday on a Instagram Live, I love watching that grow. That was sexy.
That was great.
Thank you to whoever did that. in 2021, I signed a first look deal with Aha Media, a development company, and so anything that I publish is up for opportunities for movies, animation, TV, all that goodness. So in order to really kind of showcase the wide range of stuff that we have, because we started off with 4 major titles, technically of a shared universe, with a fifth one that is kind of a standalone, but we wanted to expand on that and give even more opportunity for development series to come out. So the big bundle is really about kind of planting a flag and saying, here are even more things that could be under development. So kind of really pushing for people to jump on to my imprint, my readership, because we don't know when something is going to be in development and the value of it skyrockets. So I'm trying to get people on right now before it becomes something a bit inaccessible, because it suddenly has become super popular.
That's true.
Yes. So for those of you that like, collectibles, yeah, just throw that in there.
Oh yeah, everybody loves collectibles. And, it's one of the great things about the geeks that we are. We just love everything.
Exactly.
And we like hoarding stuff too.
Oh, definitely.
Hoarding is the best. Oh my god, like it is literally the best.
It absolutely is.
But speaking to what Sorcier said, and I love all the things that you hit. I hadn't even thought to tell people how many pages of content that they'd be getting until you started talking about it. So I did the quick math on it, and over the course of the 10 issues, we're looking at 280 pages of content. Just with the regular spans of the campaign itself, not any of the things that we have on deck for you to unlock. So that's nearly 300 pages of comic booky goodness, 6 titles, 10 issues spread out over those 6 titles. So we're going to get a complete series of 2 of those titles and all that wonderful magic. And as Ralph is putting up right now, this is my You Create Comics line. So if you want to make comics, if you have an inkling, an itch, a throbbing desire to make comics, we actually show you how. We've created product lines and programming that that are really suitable for kids at a early age, 8 years old, 3rd grade and up is the general norm, and very accessible for you to do hands-on traditional comic making with fun-filled projects that kind of walk you through the process. We do 4 aspects of creation. So it's through ideas, building stories, making characters, and then drawing it. We cover, almost something for every aspect of that. We even have our own Bristol board pads. You get 50 sheets for $20, because what we firmly believe is we don't want to price people out of their creativity. And any of the specialty items for these typically are priced at a point where newcomers really can't get in and play with it, and we want to change that. So we're trying to make as many cool things as possible for people. Not only do we make cool comics, we show you how to do it yourself. Oh man, you put the Patreon too? Let's go.
I put the Patreon page up for a reason, because I wanted to discuss Patreon in general. But go ahead, say your thing before we start asking questions.
So yeah, with the Patreon, this is what I'm designing as for my true deep-seated fans, the ones that want to see the behind-the-scenes machinations of all the things that I'm doing, and really kind of look at what are some of the stuff that I'm pulling together. What are some of the ways that I'm making this stuff happen, and all the different things that these folks will get. We're loading up all kinds of content, and I literally just put up today a work in progress of a cover to a retailer's guidebook, which is a specialty piece that only retailers are going to get through the campaign. But my Patreon members got to see it, and they're going to see all the parts and pieces of what I'm putting together, why I'm putting this together, all that fun stuff, and just kind of creating as much content as possible.
So here's the thing. I put them up because they're a great idea. Patreon page is a great idea. We have one ourselves, but it's so hard to sell people on Patreon pages. Well, I can see that you have some success with this, because I can see that there's a Patreon that follows you,
right?
To get the special exclusives at least. So, tell them what you're doing that's helping you get to where you're going.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is what I'm talking about, right? Having all these different things to talk about helps to, give people that first look access into it. So again, if I'm going to call myself the hardest working man in comics, I got to come out with some stuff. And literally some of the things that I'm going to be adding in over the next couple of days are some process videos. I'm going to actually showcase videos from the conventions that I do where I'm on stage with people and I'm going to talk about what it was like to be on stage with some of these celebs, some of the.
That's a good idea.
Thank you. Some of the big name creators that I've gotten to talk to. So this is kind of my creative journal and letting folks into my innermost private thoughts of being on this creative journey and what it's like to be in the business full time.
So I know that's part of what makes it successful with Patreon, because you want something that you're not really getting on the regular page or anywhere else. You want to get that little extra that you're like, oh wow, I got an exclusive because I'm on the Patreon. You know, and I feel like that's really important. But it's also really hard to do because you first of all you got to have the stuff you can put out, and then you got to have the stuff that you put behind the scenes. And sometimes you need that stuff behind the scenes to support you on the regular.
Absolutely. No, what you do is you create the process. So the stuff that's in a work in process, you share on the Patreon and get those as the first early adopters before you finish, and then you release the thing. But you let the people on the Patreon in on the entire process and let them communicate about it, talk about it, all that fun stuff, and that's where you do that. In fact, I even this is no joke. For my Patreon, I actually established a private store. So everyone that's a Patreon member, they get a store that they can buy my stuff, and it's at least 60% off of cover price.
That's another good idea.
For them. Just because they're already supporting me in one capacity, I'm going to give them a discount if they support me in others. So just try to create that wide range of things that say, yes, I want to follow this guy because look at all the stuff I get.
That's an excellent idea, because sometimes you want people's stuff. And at the discount you're talking about, that's actually like really getting it at a great price.
Thank you. So yeah, this is one of those little tips and tricks. I throw that out there. Share my cookbook. Feel free to play with that, you guys. Create a special store. Only those people that are Patreon members get that. And yeah.
That is a really great idea. Yeah, that makes total sense. It works for everybody because everybody has something they can do. I know here at Bit and Apple, we end up getting things that they just sit around and they don't do anything at times. And that'd be like a good idea, a good way to get the Patreon page flowing is like, look at these exclusives over here.
Yeah. I will post up an exclusive thing, and then I'll tweet about what that exclusive thing was, but only the Patreon members actually get to experience what that is. So it's that subtle push, like, hey, y'all are missing out. If y'all don't see this thing, you don't get to hear about XYZ. Because my next post is going to be about, my second time being on stage with Rosario Dawson and what that's like as a person that is such a huge fan of hers, and where my head is at, trying not to geek out, trying not to be like, oh, and by the way, I love you. Like, by the way, I'm on one knee. Like, you have to try not to do that stuff. And what is that like? Because there's a lot of people that will see me at conventions and they'll want to know, like, how did you do this? And what put you in that? These are the folks that are going to get that conversation first and foremost.
And you have met a lot of people and you have done a lot of things that people would actually like to know about. Yeah,
absolutely. And this is where I share the cookbook. Like, that's the thing is, I'm very willing to share how I've done this. Just kind of set up a stage where those people that really want to know, they get something exclusive about it, and then everybody else will find out eventually.
And I agree. Rosario is an amazing person. We've had interactions with her a couple times now.
Wait, let me be my younger Gen Z controversial self in nature. You know exactly what I'm going to ask. You know exactly what I'm going to ask.
Yeah, you've already asked it before, which I'm surprised you're asking it again.
Well, I didn't ask it to him. I've asked it to you.
What's the question?
He's gonna get mad, and probably you too. But so allegedly, I'm supposed to know who Rosario Dawson is. I don't know Rosario Dawson from anything aside from being like working with La Borinqueña.
That's it.
That's all
it.
He knows.
But like, there's this huge following that allegedly I'm supposed to be following, but I never grew up with it.
Let's solve it like this. What is your fandom in particular?
Anime.
So I grew up a lot on the anime and gaming side.
Okay, anime, gaming. Peripherally, we could get you there. Like, I mean, like you've seen the Lego movies, right? Like Lego.
I've only seen the first one.
You saw Lego Batman?
No.
Wow. All right. What about the
This is
DC?
exactly what happened when I talked to him.
Yeah. The DC animated movies, the Justice League, Death of Superman. You've never seen any of those?
Not the DC movies, no.
Okay. Wow. Spike Lee joints.
No.
Quentin Tarantino.
No.
Swing and a miss here.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith.
No.
Nathan, I can't help you. Okay.
Are you a Star Wars?
Yeah, right. Like Star Wars. Like Star Wars.
If you're talking about the Clone Wars, yes, I have watched that.
Okay, she plays the live action Ahsoka.
I have not seen live action Ahsoka.
Yeah,
It hasn't come out yet.
It hasn't come out
But
yet.
she was in the Mandalorian. She was live action Ahsoka in the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, but that costs Disney Plus money.
If you don't know a guy, you need more friends, Nathan. Okay, that's what it sounds like. You need more friends. You need a movie night.
This is the thing. This is why I bring it up. Ralph and everyone like around Ralph's circle says that I should know, but whenever I ask all my friends, none of them know either.
Listen, I'm gonna need you to log off right now, and I need you to go find a movie.
He doesn't
Find
watch
a
them.
movie. Like find one.
He doesn't watch them.
He got game. Kids, you can go back to the
I don't
beginning.
think that
Kids.
he's not gonna watch. He got games.
Listen, when she was 12, she was on Sesame Street. You can find something. Something.
Dude, I was as amazed as you are when he's like, "Who is she? Who is she?" And I'm like,
Alexander? Did you watch Alexander? Like,
What's that?
oh God. Listen. I need you, listen, okay. I need you to look up Outcast, The Love Below. The song is She Lives in My Lap. You can hear her laugh on it. Start with that. Start with that. You can YouTube that, okay? You can YouTube that one. That's a freebie. There you go.
Wait, so what exactly is like this hype train around it though? Like that's sort of the thing that I don't get.
I need you to look at her. I need you to look at her. I need you to experience her smile one time.
I've seen her in person.
in person.
We've done interviews with her. We're on the cameraman.
You don't understand.
No.
I've met her in person.
I need you to step outside the camera. I need you to put the camera down. I need you to look in her eyes. Okay, like
I edited the video with her.
no. That's video. That's video. Like you do something in video. What I need you to do is I need you to breathe her air. Okay.
Okay, that's getting a little creepy.
We have to go to extremes here, okay? These are wild things.
It's beyond redemption. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, we were doing the thing with Kenya, and she was there, and we were recording her, and he's standing there going, and he's seeing the love this lady is getting, because that he was actually seeing the love that she was getting. The line was up to Carajo land, and he's still like
eh.
Yeah.
Yo, that's wild. That's wild. My love for her is so deep. Like, this is no joke. We recreated a photo that we took together. Yo, this is from Orlando. This is from MegaCon last weekend or weekend before last. And this is a recreation of a photo that we did in 2016 because yeah, like I got the opportunity to recreate a photo, and she's like, "Absolutely, let's do it." I'm like, "Thank you." So,
she's amazing. She's truly
that's
amazing.
wild. Big shout out to Uncle Gus for his artistry on the variant cover for that book, though. That's awesome.
Yep,
Wow.
yep. I felt like this was going to go into a certain way. Yeah. I'm happy that you feel the same way I felt when I was trying to explain the whole thing to him.
I feel old too. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm bringing up this stuff. And it's like, I was waiting for him, like, what's Outcast, and I just have to log off. Like I would just have to disappear and just be like, so I never was on this show because I can't. Like that would have been. You do know who Outcast is, yes?
No.
All right, bye. See you guys.
Vic, this is why I'm here.
Oh, Jordan, save me.
I got you.
At least Jordan knows exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
I was raised on all the good stuff.
Wow. Oh, you have a
Well,
whole
what you
world
have to
before
know
you,
is
Nathan.
that,
You don't even
is that
know.
Rosario has been in so many movies and so many
So
shows and
many.
so much stuff that that you sit there going, what?
You should have accidentally like
Seen
loved her
her,
career.
yeah.
Like
So like I remember the first time I had this conversation with Ralph, I pulled up her whole discography, every movie and film she's been in, and like the music videos, and I'm like, Ralph, I have never heard a single thing on this list, and half of these are
Rent?
allegedly within
You
2000.
never heard of Rent?
No,
No, that's
525,600 minutes.
I
Rent
did
the
the song,
musical.
I did that song in choir one year.
That's what I'm saying. Wow.
We're talking about Rent the musical. It's been
Yeah.
around for like
20
wait,
years.
it's a musical?
Since dinosaur times, pretty much.
I thought it was a movie.
It
I mean,
was a musical
you know.
first, and then it became a. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. It's just,
I got
it's
you,
not
bro.
just me then, is it, right?
oh,
I got you, bro.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta get going.
Don't worry,
Thank you,
Russ.
guys.
We're happy you able to come. Tell them one more time where they can find you and all the good stuff, and where they can vote.
Okay, so it's at Game of Tunes. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is where you're going to want to go for the Bloop battles. We're round 2 right now, so we got another 2 weeks to go. So just hop on there and check it out.
And have fun. And
Yeah.
remember to vote Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider won
Yeah,
already. Vote Denji.
Vote Denji, like it says underneath my name.
Yes, yeah.
All right,
and by
Russ.
the way, I just checked. He's still way ahead. So.
Oh, I know he's going to be way ahead. I still think he's going to slaughter everybody. And my go-forward Ghost Rider is going to be all by himself.
We'll see. Crazy things have happened. So, all right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah,
Night.
Bye.
Oh my God.
Anyways, Vic, yeah, I got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. This is what happened the first time I had this conversation with him, and yeah, the same thing you did, I did. I think you brought up different things to showcase her.
I mean, I just don't understand.
I think I had like a little aneurysm.
Yes. I think the reason why we're still here is we shared that aneurysm. So you took a piece of it, I took a piece of it, so it didn't hit us completely. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I see that Dwayne has joined us. Dwayne, you're joining in. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, all the good stuff. Go for it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Dwayne Robinson Jr. I am the owner, creator of Animation, Comics, and Entertainment LLC. Currently, we have a Kickstarter available right now for our Nightfall Michael's Awakening series.
Hey.
All right, tell them a little bit about Nightfall. Come on.
Nightfall. I didn't know, like, I'm coming in late, so I don't know how far I got. Nightfall is about the main character. His name is Michael Vash. He is a normal college quarterback that finds out from his mother that he has a legacy line of werewolves within him. And it's up to him to believe that what she's saying is true or not, because although he loves his mother, there was a lot of unexplained events that had happened in issue 1. Because of that, the townspeople had dubbed the town Crazy Woman. So you find out what happens to him at the end of issue 1 at his birthday party. And in issue 2, you find out more details on what exactly is a legacy line and how it differs from other werewolves that reside within the world, such as half-breeds and other supernatural entities that reside in the world. And in issue 3, it takes off basically right where issue 2 ends, where his mother and his best friend and sister are captured by the mysterious guy you see there in a mask. His name is Lucien. And it's basically Michael has to battle Lucien in order to save his family. But along the way, when Lucien reveals who he is, the story gets into more of in depth on why he's captured his family.
Dude, you guys got to check it out. If you love werewolves and all the good stuff that makes bumps in the night, you're going to love this.
It's a great story about supernatural entities, of course, of werewolves, but it also entails deeply on family and what it takes to really love one another with all differences, and also kind of having a new life that you are being told or put in front of you, and having to kind of understand this new world that is the Nightfall universe that Michael himself is unbeknownst to him. So he is really, really trying to just learn it all while having to go through all these trials and tribulations.
Very nice.
Dude, it's an amazing book.
Artist,
amazing, beautiful art.
Yeah.
I backed it last week. Get on it. Get on it.
Thank you.
Definitely. You're not going to want to miss this. And if you see them at the conventions, you'll see the books for yourself in person. These don't look like normal regular books. The covers are just outstanding.
This is, one of the
hold on,
I'll put you that we have. This is our holographic or holochrome cover that will be a stretch goal. So you guys kind of got like an exclusive.
Shiny.
So right here.
Very shiny.
Yes. Everybody love things. So yeah, that's one of the special edition covers that we're going to be having for one of our stretch goals.
I gotta admit, you do a great job with those special covers.
Yeah, my covers is what a lot of people always kind of, it gets their eye, because I always feel even without the holochrome, people really love this cover. This is probably like the number one cover that everybody comes to check out and go, wow, what is that? So yeah, that was one of the reasons why I decided to do a holochrome cover, was because of that as well, because so many people love issue 1 cover. And then, when people, also another cool thing too, I should say, is that it starts out in black and white, as you can see there. And then it slowly goes into color later into the series.
I love that transition that you showed all of it going into color. It does, like we were talking about, it does remind you of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. People always tell me that they say that, but I always tell them, I never seen The Wizard of Oz. I've only seen The Wiz. So when people tell me, I go, oh yeah, I've heard this before. But I don't know. It's just like, I tried to watch it, and then as I'm watching it, I'm like singing the songs from The Wiz, and I'm like, I gotta go watch this now. I gotta hear that.
You can't ease on down the road to The Wizard of Oz. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same, man. So I try, but I can't get past the beginning. It's just like, no.
I gotta admit, once you've seen The Wiz, going back to The Wizard of Oz is a little weird.
Yeah, it is. It's a culture shock.
It's a seasonless chicken in comparison. That's true.
Right. It's just, it doesn't even seem like it's the same thing. Down to the costumes, the music, the look of it. It's a whole different thing. And being from New York is another thing. So when I see those things like that, I'm like, oh, I know that place.
I get that reference.
Right, yeah, when they do the wide shot with the Big Apple.
I remember the first time I saw
I know what they meant by the Big Apple.
I was like, I've been to that Subway.
Funny thing, my mom actually did take me to that Subway like a couple of weeks after I saw the movie. I was terrified because when those things come apart and they start chasing them, man, I was looking like I was kicking all the side of the bowl. I was like, you ain't gonna get me.
Not today. That's real.
Oh my god.
It was fun though. My mom used to take me everywhere. She took me to the library where the lion comes out of. She took me there too, so she really made sure I kind of knew all of the places.
That's awesome.
Yeah, somebody's playing music over here, so you gotta love the neighborhood. Oh man, so I see we're at the top of the hour. Wow, time flies. All right, Sorcier, let them know where they can find you and all the good stuff.
All right, you can find me on social media at Twitter and Instagram, which I kind of sort of halfway use, at Matasorcier, MATTASORCIER. The Kickstarter, yes, that's what I'm promoting. The Kickstarter can be found at sacrimony.com/Kickstarter. It is a very good book. It is very pretty. It is also very sad at times and sometimes very funny. And yeah, I mean, it feels like, I guess, Saga, but like if the parents hated each other and it's not in space. So like, I've had people say that to me, and I'm like, that is such a huge compliment, because I love Saga, and I'm glad that I was able to capture that sort of vibes of like, it's not about like, all right, well, who can punch and kick the bad guy into submission? It's more about like family and just like coping with the bad hand that you've been dealt in life. And like, I'm here for that stuff.
It's beautiful. You guys have to go check it out. I can't say
Congratulations on being fun.
Thanks. Oh, also the original cover art is up for sale too. It's like hand colored with marker and it's very pretty. So, you know, somebody grabbed that. Somebody bought the pencils already. So I'm
Ooh.
super happy with that.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was like the first day.
Damn.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Vic, go for it.
You guys can find me at Vantage In-House on all forms of social media, Twitter, Instagram. You can check out vantageinhouse.com to see some of the amazing stories that I've written and self-published thus far with some of the best collaborators in the game. You can also check out You Create Comics, which is the letter U, C-R-E, the number 8 comics.com, which has all of our handy dandy programs and tools for making comics all on your own. I'm super excited. Next month, I'm starting a mail order service for You Create Comics for the kids in my neighborhood. I technically live in what I call a geek desert. There are no comic shops on my side of town.
Wow.
And so we have a local neighborhood of at least 100 families, 100 households with kids that are in elementary school and don't have access to comics. So I'm going to change that and be the neighborhood comic guy by
that is amazing.
Thank you. Making a mail order, system that they can get. I think every quarter they get some supplies to make comics.
Nice.
We're going to host some events in the neighborhood to showcase their comic art. So I'm that guy. Like, I'm a consummate dad. I want to get people creating and build the next generation of readers and creators. So that's what it's all about.
Love
That's
it.
definitely
Love
why
it.
I put it on the cover to the show, because I really wanted to throw this out there to show it off. I know we discussed it a couple times, especially you coming to conventions and doing it. I know you've already tried it in a couple places, and I'm dying to see it in person. So,
oh man, listen, I will tell you, it's been really well received on the Fan Expo side. So much so that we are in talks to do branded You Create Comics art kits. So when I go to a show, I do a program. Kids can go to the front of the show and buy packs to take home to do their own thing. So it's really about promoting that sense of, you can do this. I want to show you how to do this, and then give you the tools so that you're empowered to do it all on your own. You don't have to wait till you grow up. You can do it right now.
Man, I wish I had that when I was little.
Same.
Exactly.
This is why.
Like, no, I had to wait till I was
I wish I had
31 to
that
start
now.
doing
Like,
comics.
can I get it now?
Absolutely, it still works right now. It's for the kid in you, no matter what. So
I always feel like a kid.
And it's one of the things that I've talked to Vic about before, is that sometimes when you're trying to get into this, and we all know this because we've all been in the business long enough. Trying to do what we do and start trying to make your way into this. I know that we read the books on how to write comics. We read the books on how to draw comics, but at the same time, sometimes, like I've said before about writing, there's this step that's just missing, because you're supposed to figure it out. You're supposed to, on your own, on this journey that you're on, get to where you need to get to. Exactly. And I feel like this package actually helps you get there. Because now you have a better understanding and a visual understanding of how you're going to get there.
Absolutely. I literally was just working on a book that I'm doing called The VIPs of Self-Publishing, and I talked about the idea of transitioning from an idea to a story is essentially like evolving a Pokemon. If you understand it that way, again, speaking to something that's popular and kid accessible, if you have that understanding, you can make better writers because they'll have a better understanding of what that process is. It's not this mysterious thing that just happens. I'm telling you, like, if you do this and then you do these things, you get this, and then you do these things and then you get that, and that's what you want. And so just try to make things as accessible as possible so that we get more people doing it.
I agree with you. It was that first moment that I realized I could use the D&D analogy to explain how to write. I was like, oh my God, why didn't I think about this?
It all comes back to D&D always. Every time, everything comes back to D&D.
Exactly.
Crazy. It's absolutely
crazy.
Like
you take this step, like, dude, it's easy. When you are first doing D&D, you are at this level that you're creating your own character. You're doing his backstory. This is called beginning writing. This is where you are in the beginning. Then when you become the DM, you become a little higher. You play in somebody else's sandbox. You got their rules to play with. And as you develop your skills as a writer, you're moving up to the next level. First, you're creating the person as a character, you're creating the world as a character. Then as you become the DM that creates their own world, this is where you've stepped out of the whole thing and you understand all the concepts that came before you, and you go, this is how I create this world because I understand the way the world works and how the world works in this place. So now I understand how my world works. And I was like, the first time I hit that, I was like, oh my God. And I was explaining it to somebody else the first time, and they were like, oh my God, Ralph, I've never heard it explained like that. And I'm like, damn, I wish somebody would explain that to me when I was a kid.
It's kind of like that like galaxy brain meme moment where your head just like completely explodes into a ball of light.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You suddenly get it. You are the one, and yeah.
You understand the universe, or at least the universe of writing.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You just look at people and like, there is no spoon. Of course. There's no spoon. I get it. Forks for everybody. I get it.
And Vic, I have to say, I know you use everything in order to get what you're accomplished with, and I see you've had some success on TikTok, which is the other place.
A little bit.
And I understand it as well because I'm on there all the time. I just use it to make promos. So
you're just smart. Like, trust and believe. Like, I think what you do there is amazing. But yeah, TikTok is a place that what I'm finding successful are just throwing out tips and tricks. Like commenting on what it's like to be in the business. If I see somebody that's talking about a struggle that they have, and if I have a solution, throw that out there. Like just like tell them like, hey, no, I think you can do this. And here's where I think that definitely works. Here's where you might want to look at something as a potential obstacle. And if you solve that, you've doubled up. That's always going to be my space, is the guy that helps other people do their thing. Like I said, I share my cookbook. If I only hoard this information for myself, it's not enough for me. I don't want to be the guy alone at the top. I want to bring as many people with me as possible. And if we all have a plan for how we want to do this, and I can show you, hey, this worked for me, try it. If you do it better, then steel sharpens steel, and we do nothing but get better every time we do this. So
a rising tide lifts all ships.
There it is. Absolutely.
That's exactly how we live here in the Bitten Apple. We figured out that raising each other up is the way to rise, because it's much easier when we're all coming together.
Exactly. So that's what I'm all about.
Dude, and that's why we love you. That's why I have you on all the time, because you actually are out there trying to make this happen, not just for yourself, but for other people.
Yes.
And that says a lot, because by ourselves already is hard work.
It's true. But I mean, again, I love this. I've been dubbed a phenomenological narratologist. And I love the idea of teaching stories to people, the philosophy of stories, and helping people understand, like, you are a story. All you have to do is get it out there. So that's it.
Completely agree with you. I'm always talking to people because, the first thing I always get is, Ralph, I have nothing to write. And I'm like, no, you have tons of things to write. You just aren't writing.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it goes, but I can't write it the way other people write. Well, just write it your way,
Your way. There's an audience. You'll find them.
Exactly.
There's no right or wrong way to do anything either. Like, that's what I learned from making comics on my own, where, like, I'm a writer, I write my own stories, but I can't do a script to save my life. Like, I can only kind of operate on, like, basic outlines of, like, all right, well, this needs to be said and that needs to be said. And, like, for the longest time, I stopped myself because I'm like, no, I have to do the script. And then it's like, when I was like, no, you know what, screw the script. I'm just gonna go as I'm comfortable with. And all of a sudden I'm like, 180 pages into my comic. So
that's what I'm talking about.
And it's funny that you say that, because it's funny because comics are set up a certain way, and then everybody wants you to think that the script is what has to happen. But then you sit there and go, but wait a minute. When Stan Lee was working with the artist, he wasn't really giving them a script. He was going, dude, this is what I got. This is what I need you to do.
It wasn't even that much.
That's what I do with my brain. I'm like, okay, I know the gist of what's going to happen. Let me just try to draw it out and see what happens. And it works. It works better than when I've tried to write scripts, they've way completely deviated. I'm like, I don't even know. I'd have like a 40-page script for like, a 20-page issue or something. And I'm like, something is not right here. There's a disconnect.
It's
And
an
it's
Alan Moore level writing. That's what that is.
Exactly.
not even, I wish. Like, I can't even give myself that kind of compliment. It was just like completely off the rails. And I was like, you know what? This is not working for me.
I also tell people the same thing. Every relationship out from the writer to the artist is really important. So if you find if you have a certain way of writing, what you need to do is find an artist that can deal with that certain way of writing. Because that's how you work. Not every artist is going to be able to do your thing. Some people need a script. They need you to tell them what they're doing. Other people can work with you. And I find that I like the partnership where, because people think that comics is just one thing or another. It's either the writing or the art. No, it's both.
Oh God, like those ongoing debates of like, oh, is the writer more important or the art? No, you know what? It's a team effort here. Like,
Exactly.
shut up.
And that's why, like, when creators they get credit for creating a character. Like, well, technically speaking, the writer and the artist needed to work together to create that character, because the writer had a concept in his head. Unless he's the artist as well, that's not what's going to show up on paper. What's going to show up on paper is what the artist is thinking. If you get a good partnership, though, you can see the artist actually create what you're thinking.
It's like that. It's like that Nick Fury quote from the Avengers trailer. We had an idea to bring together a group of whatever
like-minded individuals.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's actually really good.
yeah. No, it's so true. I think statistically speaking, only about 30% of the words that we type for a script actually make it into a comic, and the best presentation for it, and I highly recommend you guys finding this. Mark Miller has a show that he's doing where he's interviewing other creatives called Miller Time, and he did one with Brian Hitch, and Hitch has a great way of expressing that. Basically, when he reads a script, what he's looking for is for you to tell him the story to get him excited to draw it, and that's really what we do. Like, I'm writing the story or the script to get the artist jazzed up and pumped up. You're like, oh, I can't wait to draw that. That's the person that I'm telling the story to. Everything else is a translation from their hand to the page that the readers are going to get, unless I produce a book that shows what the script was. But that's secondary. That's like, I'm literally writing this story first and foremost to the artist to get them excited. And that's the necessity.
I wish more writers knew that. Like, say it louder for the people in the back, because I've never heard anybody say that before. And that's that's what it should be, because a lot of, there was a Twitter thread where, an artist was talking about writers who, think that they're great. And it's like, what are you really bringing to the table here? Like, a lot of artists want to draw their own stories, but they can't right now. So they're looking for work. Like, make your story something that they want to draw.
Exactly.
That's the job. And if you, and I'll play both sides, because I'm all about empowering individual creative voices. So for writers, like, again, if you want to be very particular and precious about your words, produce what would be your comic as a prose novel first. Then you don't have to answer anybody else's visualization, and you can take that prose novel, do an adaptation, and that becomes the comic. But if you're going to be that precious, do it in prose first, because that's the only place that you get to be that precious, because it's all on you. When you're trying to dictate what something has to look like, that's not going to work in an interpretive, collaborative measure. And you have to understand that it is a mutual collaboration.
Yeah.
The artist can't draw the story that's not written, and the readers won't read the story that's not drawn. Like, that's the way this works. You are in it together. You have to form like Voltron, and then you become the defenders of the universe. Otherwise, you're a bunch of random cats running around. Come on.
Yep. Oh man, that
is so important. The relationship between the writer and the artist is so important. That's why I tell people all the time: if you're not gelling, go somewhere else.
Exactly.
I think one of like the strangest panels that I read, like when I was doing collaborations and stuff back in the day, was a writer had described this panel where it was like, a massive library spans out behind the two of them, and there's horses running in an open field. And the look on your face, Vic, was like the look on my face when I was reading the script, especially because it was like I was the colorist for that project, but then when I saw like what the artist did and like how much room they actually had to work with, it was just this like tiny little panel crammed on like the bottom corner of
Yeah.
the page with just like some books and like a horse head. It's like, bro, this is the best I can do with what you gave me.
This is what you get. Okay, so one of the things that I will plug about the You Create line is I take the idea of doing layouts and I make writers do those.
Yes, I love it when writers do that. Do your own thumbnails, writers,
Yes.
please.
If you're going to ask for something to be drawn, you have to do some sort of approximation of it. And if you can't visualize it, even in stick figures, don't ask somebody else to draw.
Yeah, not even God can visualize it at that point. Like,
Dude, I say it all the time. I got the greatest stick figures for my panels anywhere, you know. And I'm gonna put them there so the artist can go, "Oh, that's what he's talking about."
Yeah, I love it when writers do that. In all honesty, like writers, do more layouts, please. Like, don't be the guy who's like, "Oh, but you're gonna laugh at my drawing. It's just stick figures." Like, no, it's like a very utilitarian thing. We're not here for like the bells and whistles. We're here to know where everything should go on the page.
I also feel like writers forget that they're writing a comic.
Oh,
you know, they forget they're writing.
We need a whole new hour.
And they start explaining a lot of shit, and I'm like, dude. You know how many panels we need to get done here? We cannot do.
It was the golden hour when the sun shone through the window ever so perfectly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A friend. She got a job to do to draw someone's script, and it was like they wanted like this big establishing shot, but then they also wanted like 11 panels underneath, and she was like, she had this whole argument with them about like, you know, how that's not doable, and they're like, oh, you're the artist, you should be able to do it, and you know, ultimately she lost the job because of that. And I'm like, bro, no one's gonna work with a writer like that.
They'll find out the hard way.
Yes, they will. Yes,
I hope they did. It's been a few years, and I haven't seen their comic ever come out. So I don't know. Maybe they're accountants now or something.
This is why. And tell them to sign up for the You Create Comics course. I'll show them like, don't do that.
Oh man, seriously.
Don't do that. Stop it. Writer to writer, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
Dad, no.
There's a water bottle. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh man, Dwayne, one more time so people can hear you in the back. Let them know who you are and where they can find you, so we can showcase your book one more time.
Okay, my name is Dwayne Robinson Jr. I am the owner of Animation Comics and Entertainment LLC, or ACE for short. Currently, we have our Nightfall Michael's Awakening issue 3 Kickstarter going on right now. The story is about the main character. His name is Michael Vash. He is a normal college quarterback that finds out from his mother that he has a legacy line of werewolves within him. And there's 3 issues, and that is issue 1. In issue 3, we have it where the main character, Michael, is going against the main villain of issue 3, Lucien, who is a mysterious character who has captured his mother and sister, and he has to fight to get them back. And all the while fighting him, he is the villain exposes who he truly is and changes the story as we know it.
What a twist.
Yes. This story is mainly, every issue has a twist. So basically in the first issue, it's about the twist is really, is he really a werewolf or is he not? In issue 2, it's about really knowing or understanding what a legacy line is and how it differs. And then the twist is what happens at the end of how they get kidnapped and why they get kidnapped. And in issue 3, in the beginning of issue 3, it explains why they get kidnapped. And then there's more twist to it as the story goes into it. So that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do with this story. I wanted it to be a very cool mystery, but still having, you know, the family kind of thing going on, but, you know, just something really different. You know, I always tell this crazy story. I don't know how much time we got, so I'll roll really fast. But
you can take as long as you want.
The main reason why I came up with this idea was because I saw the movie Twilight, and but I saw it in the way as like, oh, okay, you know, this is different. You know, I see there could be something like a supernatural kind of love story, but I didn't want to do it in that way because I'm a huge fan of old school supernatural characters. You know, I've always been a fan of Lycans and werewolves. So I wanted to keep that kind of down gritty old school tone, but still involve all of these other elements where there's family, there's love, there's drama, there's action, and this is what Nightfall it really is about. And it's just told from a different point of view, you know what I mean? Because usually when you have stories of werewolves, the character is mainly in a secluded area, somewhere in the woods. Michael is a regular normal guy in the city. He's a normal college quarterback that finds this life out of, and he lives in the city and he goes through life like a normal person does until everything changes on him. And he's asked to gradually understand this world as he goes on. And yeah, that's pretty much what the story is about.
Dude, yeah, you guys got to pick it up. And again, I can't say too much about the beautiful covers he has.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that's kind of one of the lucky things that being that I am the artist and writer, so I don't have to drive myself that crazy. Even though I'm still already crazy, it's already official. That part of me,
dude.
But
I
at least
feel
I don't
anybody like you guys who's doing all this stuff on their own is just wow.
It's hard. It's hard, you know what I mean? Because only thing I don't do is the colors, because for a long time when I was doing my first issue, I really wanted to start, as I said, in black and white, slowly go into color. But then I had to tell myself, okay, what color should I add? Oh, yeah, this is great. I want to make it look like this. And then I was just going back and forth with it for so long. I was like, you know what? I need to take a step away and maybe hire a colorist. That way I can tell him the story and tell him what I got. And then he'll go, okay. And then he'll bring it to me and then I can accept it and don't have to oh, well, you should add this because he already brought me something that's really good and something because he understands it. So like you were saying, that whole, cold team thing, I'm full on board with that, even though when I get that, then I have to go back to the lettering, and the lettering is another conversation I have to go through myself. So, because a lot of times, I think you said it, Victor, a lot of times people don't really use the actual script. They end up changing it. And that's very much the case for me. I end up looking at stuff and going, nah,
let me change that.
More stuff.
Yeah, it's always in the lettering phase where you start editing and you're like, wait, no, this sounds stupid. Let me change it to something else.
Right. I do it all the time.
I highly recommend for writers to learn how to letter for that reason. So that way, if the art comes back and the big verbose thing that you needed to say isn't going to fit, you can fix that. You can do that yourself. So. And it's another backdoor way to get into the mainstream industry because lettering is
I always try to write it
backdoor.
as a screenplay, so it helps me a little bit easier when I'm trying to put down the panels. Because for me, I feel like if I just keep the story how I originally write it, I'll have you said, the 11 panels on one page, and I wouldn't do that. So that was but it was I can't take full credit. That was my brother's idea because my brother is actually more of the comic book fan than I am. I'm more of the animated guy, hence the name Animation Comics ENT. That's a play on me and my brother. I grew up more watching animation, cartoons and things of this nature. So I always was familiar with the comic book culture and the stories, but I was always watching the cartoons. But my brother, on the other hand, he was more of the comic book guy. So that's a little, tidbit on our names. But so for me, when he was telling me, he was like, yeah, you should probably, you got a lot of ideas, but just try to ground it down right into a screenplay. I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to draw it. He's like, no, just screenplay first. And I was like, all right. So, I can't take credit. That was completely his idea. And, this company wouldn't be where it is without him, because he's definitely the guy that, always kind of, we compliment each other. You know what I mean? I have an idea and he's just like, oh, I got this. And then we're like, what do we think about this? So it's always fun to have someone that you can always pitch ideas or just throw whatever at, so you can always just know that you always have someone quick, fast, and hurried to give you their ideas or their opinion on what you got. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's something that as a creator, I think most people want to see or get, they want to hear people's thoughts. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to have something done and then you can say it in your head oh, this is great. This is it. Everybody's going to love it. And then no one's there to tell you. You're just believing it in yourself. Yep. That's how you get a big head. I have no problem with someone saying, hey, man, this could be, a little ad here and do this. And I'll go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't take everything because there are some people that are just out there that just really hurt your feelings for no reason.
True.
But if it sounds like it's something I can go with, I'll definitely go with it. No problem. You know what I mean? One of the things that for my story in the first issues of 1 and 2, a lot of people were saying that the colors weren't as bright. And for us it was intentional because I kind of wanted to have it give that dark ambiance feeling. So all of the pages of when it comes in color gives it more of a dark, gritty kind of look. But I guess people didn't really catch on to that. So I was like, okay, and then the colors that I had to step away. So I found another one, and he actually is tremendous. And you really get to see that in issue 3, how vivid and colorful the pages are, with still keeping that grounded kind of dark, gritty element to it as well because of the artwork that I did. So, teamwork, man.
That's it. Makes the dream work.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The better team you have, the better way it goes.
I believe it. Or the more people you have, the faster it'll go as well.
Dude, yeah, like we've been saying since the beginning, it's easier to raise up when you have other people raising up with you.
Yep.
All right, folks.
Nathan
hit up
first.
a couple of things over here on the side before I hit. Jordan has like 10,000 things.
That's why I said it's better to let Nathan go first.
All right, let's see what we got here. Present screen.
I don't know about that, Jordan.
All right, Cataclysm. Look, Rob Powers did a fantastic job at putting together Pinguino's Revenge, and which I'm waiting for volume 2 at Rob. You hear me, Rob? Cataclysm is right down that alley. Of course, like we told you guys before, when an artist or a writer or somebody puts out the Kickstarter and they put the notify in, if you go and help them out with the notified numbers, it gets the algorithm going in the right direction for them. The bigger amount of people you have supporting you before it even starts, the better showcase you are on Kickstarter itself.
May 1st.
Check out Cataclysm. We also have our friends over here at Chain American starting off their thing again. Make sure you press the button to get notified. These are great projects that are up and coming, and of course, like I said, it really helps them out when you do that. Our friend Michael Ratliff has his project, which has just started recently.
Oh, look at that number go up. Oh, it's a 1666. I like it.
There you have it. He's at 1,666. 20 backers. 26 days to go. This is a sketchbook thing for him. The first sketchbook of Michael Ray Class artwork ever. Sketch Z Volume 1 includes 100 pages of Michael's artwork. That's 100 pages of artwork, folks. He's trying to get to $8,000. He's at 1,666. 26 days to go. There's plenty of time to get him there and extra. So, go and help Michael out. Michael is amazing. I'm trying to get him on the show so he can tell you himself all the beautiful things he does. But I love Michael's art. It's unique. And you should go check it out. All right, Mr. Jordan, where are we starting with?
Oh boy! All right. You know what? Spin a wheel. No.
Well, I did Jane American. I'll start with the rated X.
All right, let's get it out of the way.
I'll start with the rated X. Hold on. Here we go.
Ralph doesn't want to bring up what's going on.
All right, go ahead. Explain.
So, what's
Murder
a way?
Bukkake.
Yeah, that. I'm trying to think of a
I feel like
What is
that's
it?
so self-explanatory.
It is very
Yeah, you
self-explanatory.
can just read
Murder
it from the
Bukkake.
top there.
It's a rated X book. It's at 13,750. 1,245 backers already. 16 days to go. And I have a feeling that they're going to get farther than they are right now.
At least 20K, I'm thinking.
Probably.
At least.
Probably.
Oh, I completely agree. Let's see what else we got over here. Grandma Chainsaw.
Yes.
What's Grandma Chainsaw? Is it a grandma with a chainsaw?
Yes.
How could you tell?
So
It's like Snakes on a Plane.
I'm going to shorten this as much as possible so I don't give too many story beats away. So, group of teenagers, car breaks down, stranded in the middle of nowhere, house in the woods, crazy psycho grandma. There we go.
Perfect.
Crazy psychogram. That does fill it up. She's at 3,579. They've funded already, but like we like to tell you here, Kickstarters, nobody's making money except for the big guys. Help the artists out and the creators make their practice happen. They're probably going to put all the money back into another book to send your way anyway.
Yeah, they have 3 books in the works. I actually talked to one of the creators last week, and yeah, they've got like 3 series going on.
You talking about Alan or
Alan? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with those guys.
They're funny guys.
Yeah, I have all of their books over there. I can actually serve something for this.
Oh,
I got something in the
big focus on Jordan, Ralph. Big focus.
Well, while Jordan is over there talking his book, here's another beautiful.
No, he's getting something for this book.
Yeah.
This book.
Yeah. Because I got my delivery in the mail today.
Ooh.
So I finally have an error cover for the first time.
Oh, nice.
They accidentally put the back cover on the front and the front on the
That's
back.
wild. That's
So
listen. No, that
Wow.
the price for that one goes up tenfold.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Collector's item,
That's
misprint.
exactly what you want. You want a beautiful.
So because I've been talking back and forth with the creator of that, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna send you some stuff with it." I'm like, "All right." So then, not only do I have a hardcover, but I have a trade paperback.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
So what's the story, Jordan? What is this?
I have to read it first.
Just got it. Just like super fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, there you have it, folks.
You know them, though, don't you?
I know them, but I don't know anything about it.
Like
That
I
he's
was
willing to
saying,
say in front of all
Almost
of us.
got $30,000.
they're at 27,451. This book is doing beautifully. It was supposed to be funded at 5,000. 419 backers. 28 days to go. These people still have 28 days to go, and they're already at
crazy.
27,000.
That's wild.
They're gonna hit like 50K. It's gonna be ridiculous
Mhm.
Those stretch
and
goals.
glorious.
Oh, beautiful, man. Just beautiful.
Stretch goals.
Woo! Yeah, stretch goals are the things, folks. Sometimes
Yeah.
once you get the people funded, you want to get those stretch goals.
Oh,
Absolutely.
and I also like to mention that I was the first backer on that campaign.
Oh,
Nice.
subtle flex.
Oh.
Subtle flex.
I mean, if I'm gonna flex, I'm just gonna flex then. All
there
right.
you go.
Uh-oh.
What's the number at now?
I've been the #1 Kickstarter on 17 Kickstarters.
Hey,
Nice. That is a
Jordan,
flex.
I'm gonna put you on
That
with my
is a
next
real
one, so
flex.
you can up that ante. I got you. I got you.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
All right, folks. Of course, our friend Shadow's not here, but the amazing Shadow Rabbit makes amazing figures of your dreams and makes them into reality. So go hit up Shadow Rabbit. He is a beautiful creator, as you can see there, where he's making his plethora of Pokemon.
Yes.
Oh, he's awake right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's very much awake.
Oh yeah.
There he is. He does stuff for Kickstarters. He does stuff for himself. He just does amazing work.
Yeah, I can attest to it. This is one of the things he did for me.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, wait, you have one of them there? You showing them
Yeah.
off? Hold on, I'll put you up.
This is
There we are.
main character. He did this, and then he also did Vaughn from my other series.
Nice.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, Shadow makes dreams into reality. We love seeing him work and how he gets creative with everything. Speaking of Shadowmare Comics, who teamed up with our pal Russell, they also teamed up with Shadow. Let's see if it was an amazing piece. Oh, here it is. Dude. He was able to make their logo into a living
That's crazy.
thing and added the lighting to it. And it was just beautiful.
That's
And this is
gorgeous.
this is not even the full thing.
Also, Alan will be here next week.
Look at that.
Majestic.
Nice.
So go hit up Shadow Rabbit. He is the man. All right, folks. Mr. Nathan, you got anything?
Yeah, he posted it in the chat. Or
This is part of a much bigger conversation.
Well, I was told by a certain somebody that she's waiting for her to finish a certain piece before we show her off again?
This one's a little bit relevant for the conversation.
All right, I'll put her back up. But you take the responsibility, okay?
This is a much wider conversation. I'm going to explain why, because this is why Shadow Rabbit's actually still awake.
So I feel like this is something family business, and we're not supposed to hear about this yet.
Oh boy!
Oh no, we are the reason why the conversation started.
Oh no! Here we go.
So this is Floop Schmalo, our resident artist here at the Bit and Apple TV. That is wrong.
That is a horse.
There we go. Floop Schmalo, our resident artist here at the Bit and Apple TV, who is very close in age to me, and also had no idea who Rosario Dawson is, thus waking up both Tony and Lou to try and help us find places where we might have known her from. And nope. The closest thing apparently was Clerks for little Floop Schmalo, but did not know who Rosario Dawson was.
Wow. Okay.
Dude, even if you're doing the Marvel TV Netflix series,
right?
This is what we're talking about right now.
Ralph,
no, we didn't.
They already crossed that bridge in the chat.
We didn't.
Oh my god.
I mean, the thing about it though is that you're gonna eventually see her again because it's not like she's gonna stop doing any type.
Yeah.
Also,
you're gonna see her regardless of.
He's gonna see her and be like, "Who's that?"
Right, but he's just gonna keep saying
as long
it.
As you don't do that to her publicly.
So,
Oh my god.
That's too funny.
Wait a second.
That's too funny.
The only place I know her from is La Borinqueña, and that's it.
I mean, that's a good place to know her from, though.
That is a great place to know her from. Yeah, we all love ourselves some Borinqueña.
And that's it. But I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
I knew that.
And you
listen to the solidarity.
Somebody else.
Really, just me.
Because Ralph, I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy because you know Shen watches a lot of TV and movies, and she listens to a lot of music, and a lot of stuff you listen and watch to.
That's more than you. At least she had Mr. Clerks, because that's more than. All right, folks. This has been Apple Bites. The craziness has happened today. We have so much fun that we are way over time here. And part of me actually doesn't want it to end, but, you know, timing, people wanting us to do other things that are circling me right now.
Oh. But, Ralph, what's on Wednesday's show?
Of course, Wednesday on the Written Writ, you're going to get me and a bunch of the idiots over here hanging out, geeking out, having fun. And our guest will be on to show off whatever they have. Who is our guest on Wednesday?
I at least know what movies are.
Who is our guest on Wednesday?
I have a whole shelf.
It's a very important person.
Oh, dude, on Wednesday, Food Stamps will be here to show you their fantastic stuff. We love Food Stamps. Wait till you see his toys.
Why do I have a feeling this isn't the one Jordan was thinking of?
I don't know. I think Jordan's thinking about another day here, like
No,
Monday.
I'm just imagining the actual food stamps.
All right, folks. On this show, unlike the Written Writ, I press the button over here, and this happens.
Jordan, you still here? Are we doing our bit?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so like, am I actually crazy for not knowing where she's from? You're relatively close in age to me.
I mean, I know who it is, but
Yes, you're crazy.
like this isn't a random thing, right?
I guess.
It's Rosario freaking Dawson, man. It's not like we're talking about surf.
You act like it's supposed to be a big name. I don't know.
It's not supposed to be a big name. It is a big name.
You're Shed talking now. Man, what a bit.
This is what I do